Last year, I watched someone spend $400 on a single bottle of a supplement that promised to restore their natural hair color. Let me paint you a picture of two people, same age, same genetics, same starting point in life. One of them, at 80 years old, walks faster than people half their age. They climb stairs without thinking. They get up off the floor by themselves. They travel. They live. The other one, by 65, needs help getting out of a chair. They grip the handrail every single time they go downstairs. They hesitate at the curb before crossing the street because they're not sure their legs will catch them if they trip. Same age, completely different lives. And the gap between those two people, it didn't happen suddenly. It was built quietly over decades through four specific things that almost nobody thinks about until it's too late. I want to talk about those four things today because the research on this is genuinely alarming, and most people making everyday decisions right now have never seen it. Here's the number that nobody tells you. Starting around age 30, you lose between 1 and 2% of your muscle mass every single year if you're not actively doing something to fight it. And I know that sounds like nothing, but run that forward 20 years and you've lost nearly a third of your muscle. Run it forward 30 years and you are in serious, serious trouble. The clinical term for this is sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, and research published in a major journal on aging estimated it affects around 30% of older adults in the general population. And the real-world consequences are not abstract. They are falls, fractures, hospitalizations, loss of independence, and early death. Here's the number I want you to actually sit with. A hip fracture after age 70 carries a 1-year mortality rate of 30%. 30%, 1 in 3 people who break a hip after 70 are dead within a year. And most people making decisions about whether to exercise in their 40s have never been told that number. I think that is a serious problem. A study following over 5,000 adults over the age of 65 for nearly a decade found that those with the weakest muscle strength had more than double the risk of dying compared to those with the strongest. Double. And a major analysis in aging research found that higher muscle mass in midlife was strongly associated with lower rates of heart disease, disability, and early death. This is not inevitable, and the time to do something about it is right now, long before you start to feel the consequences. So let's talk about the 4 things you need to protect. The first one is your quadriceps, the big muscle group at the front of your thigh. This is the muscle that decides whether you can get out of a chair without using your arms. It's your stair muscle. It's what keeps your knees stable when you step off a curb. When this fades, stairs that used to feel effortless start to feel like work. Getting up from the couch becomes a production. Here's a quick test right now. Sit in a normal chair, cross your arms over your chest, stand up 5 times in a row without using your hands. If that feels hard, or if your hands automatically reached for the armrest before you even thought about it, this muscle needs your attention. The exercise to fix it is almost exactly what you just did. A sit to stand. Stand in front of the chair, feet shoulder width apart, toes angled slightly out. Lower yourself slowly toward the seat, then come back up controlled. If you need to fully sit and then stand back up, that's a legitimate starting point. Work toward hovering just above the seat and eventually into a full squat without the chair. What makes this exercise so valuable is how many muscles it recruits at once. Quads, glutes, hamstrings, calves, core. All of it firing with zero equipment. 10 reps 2 or 3 times a day. Start there. The first week or 2, the changes are mostly in your nervous system, your brain getting better at coordinating the muscles you already have. Actual muscle growth kicks in around weeks 3 to 6, and it compounds significantly from there. The second muscle group most people never think about training is the calves, and yet this is one of the most important anti-fall muscle groups in your entire body. Your calves stabilize you when you're slightly off balance. They control your forward movement when you walk. They are responsible for your walking speed and your stride confidence. And here's something most people don't know. Walking speed is one of the strongest independent predictors of survival in older adults. That slow, cautious shuffle you see in elderly people isn't just being old. A massive part of it is muscle loss in the lower leg. Quick test. Stand near a wall or counter for balance. Try 10 slow, controlled single-leg calf raises. Rise up onto your toes, lower back down slowly. If that feels shaky or barely manageable, this muscle needs work. Start with both legs if you need to. Just hold the counter, rise up slowly, lower slowly. 10 to 15 reps once or twice a day. And here's a bonus you probably didn't know. The calf muscle is also responsible for pumping blood back up from your legs to your heart. So training this isn't just a balance investment, it's a cardiovascular one too. The third group is your core and your postural muscles, the deeper muscles running along your spine and around your torso. When these weaken, posture rounds forward. People start looking down when they walk. They get stooped, their center of gravity shifts forward. And here's where something critical happens that most people don't understand. Your cerebellum, the part of your brain at the base of your skull, is constantly receiving signals from your legs and feet, telling it where you are in space and whether you're about to fall. When your postural muscles weaken and you stop moving regularly, those signals degrade. The neural pathways get pruned back because the brain operates on one brutal principle: use it or lose it. What that means in practice is that the system designed to catch you when you trip is the system and the one that needs to generate a fast enough response to correct your body before you hit the ground, simply becomes too slow to do its job. Falls in older adults aren't bad luck. They are almost always the end result of years of accumulated muscle and neurological decline that nobody addressed. Simple test: stand on one leg and hold it without excessive wobbling. If 10 seconds feels difficult, your balance system needs work. The exercises here are bird dogs, side planks, and glute bridges. No equipment, all of them can be done on the floor in your living room. And even just standing on one leg while you wait for your coffee to brew starts rebuilding the exact neuromuscular calibration that is the difference between catching a stumble and ending up on the floor. The fourth one technically isn't a muscle, but it behaves exactly like one. Use it and it stays strong. Neglect it and it quietly deteriorates. That's your brain. Physical movement triggers the release of something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of it as fertilizer for your neurons. It helps existing brain cells survive and supports the growth of new ones. Higher BDNF is consistently linked to better memory, sharper thinking, and significantly lower dementia risk. The Framingham Heart Study, one of the longest-running health studies in history, found that people who moved more had substantially lower rates of dementia over the long term. A 2022 paper in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that even modest increases in physical activity were associated with dramatic reductions in dementia risk across massive populations. Building muscle isn't just about your legs and your independence. It may be one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain. So how do you actually put all of this together? Start with one movement today, the sit to stand. 10 reps without your arms. If that's hard, that's exactly where you need to be. If that's easy, add calf raises at the kitchen counter while the microwave runs, while you're on the phone. Sprinkle them throughout your day. Once those feel solid, add single leg balance holds. Once those are locked in, add the floor work, bird dogs, glute bridges, side planks, and then add walking, because walking does something targeted exercises alone can't fully replicate. It trains all of these muscles together in a functional, integrated way. It keeps the brain to muscle connection sharp. And the data behind it is remarkable. A meta-analysis in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology, pulling data from over 400,000 people, found walking was associated with a significant reduction in cardiovascular death. The Nurses' Health Study found that brisk walking for 3 hours a week was linked to a 35% lower risk of heart attack. You don't need 20,000 steps. Around 7,500 a day, done consistently, is where the evidence stacks up. And if you can do some of that walking after meals, research shows that 3 short walks after eating reduces your 24-hour blood sugar levels more effectively than one longer walk taken at any other time of day. Last thing, feed your muscles. Most people don't eat nearly enough protein, and this matters more as you get older, not less. Aim for somewhere between 1.2 and 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. Your muscles cannot grow from exercise alone if you're not giving them the raw material to rebuild. The framework is simple, even if it's not always easy. Move more throughout your daily life. Do targeted exercises consistently. Walk regularly. Eat enough protein. If you do those things, you're not just maintaining muscle, you're protecting your independence, your balance, your metabolic health, your brain, your ability to live fully at 80 instead of struggling at 65. The research is clear about what happens to people who keep this system active versus those who let it quietly decline. The only question is which path you're choosing starting today.